continue the evolving the ear training game and building on what we did on Thursday. You can find what we did on Thursday on Blackboard under the toolbox section. If you go down here, there's the PDF that has the class note where we try to zoom or focus on some rules for the game. And as I mentioned, you can set up the rules any way you want. You can also find the zip file that contains the code that we created. So you can click on the zip file, download it, and open it with Xcode. So here is what we have done on Thursday. The way it works right now is we were able to set the concept of turn. So every game will have a turn, and we will play the game for 10 times. Every turn, the game will play a sound, and the user will have to select if this sound is which note this sound is. And once they click on the buttons, it comes to check answer, which will check the answer and update the count. When the count reaches 10, this will make this if statement false. So the user will come here. We calculate some statistics about the game. For instance, what is the percentage of the answer, construct an output message, create an alert view, and show that alert, and then call on the reset game to reset the game again. Reset game sets the correct answer and the incorrect answer. We haven't called on the record results yet. We set up the record results to record the high score, low score, total games, and to increment the total games every time the game is incremented or is played. The game itself, we will save in the standard user the defaults, and we define this in the view did load. Get a copy of the standard user defaults and save the game in that default. We did not yet implement record results, but this should come here when the user. Here I wrote the note that once we finish the record result, we need to record the results. So what we will do today is to build on that. We need to call the record results so that it is called, and we need to go ahead and fix the turn count of the game, because right now when you play the game, it does not play itself for 10 times. So there's something we still need to do there. So first thing is I will come here and record the result by calling record results. So when the game is over, we record the results of the game. The next thing that we need to do is when the game starts, a count of the 10 turns starts. So there is actually two different things in play here. The first one is starting a game, and the second one is starting a turn within the game. So these are two separate concepts. So what I need to do, we need to separate these two concepts in order to be able to implement recording results at the end of the game, and in order to implement resetting the game and playing the game by itself. So the way to do this is to create two separate methods. So this is a method to start a game. We will create another one and we can call it to play the game. So we'll start another method. We're gonna call this method play game, or start play the game, or start the turn. I'm sorry. So in play the game, we will need almost everything that we have here in a start game. So I'm gonna copy everything from a start game. And I will paste that in here, and I copied an extra closing brace. I don't need that in a start game anymore, so I'm gonna take it out from start game. When the user come and say I want to start a game, what I need to do is to reset the current game, which will reset the count. So I want to call reset game. Then I want to start the game. Start playing the game by sending a message to play game. Alright? Once the user, when you reset the game, what we have done in reset the game is to reset the correct answer and the incorrect answer. But we also, in resetting the game, we need to reset the turn count. So we need to put the turn count to 0, because now it's time and we are starting again. When the play games comes, we create the sound, define the path, the file count, the random. I no longer need to reset the game here. And the turn count and everything else looks fine. So let's go and try. So notice a couple of things here. Number one, I need to kind of get rid of these two labels to clean it up a little bit. When you start the game, you play, you get the incorrect answer, and right now nothing is really happening. What needs to happen is, once you check the answer of the user, you want to play the second sound. To play the second sound, we want to call play game again, because every time you play game, it checks the turn count, and if it's less than 10, it plays another sound. So if we look at the check answer checks if the answer is correct and if it's incorrect, and at the end it incremented the count. At this point, after it incremented the count, it needs to play the next sound. To play the next sound, then we need to call the game, the play game. But if we call play game, it will play the sound immediately without waiting a little bit for the user and giving the user an opportunity to think about the answer and playing the answer. So I don't want to call play game directly. So I will do something else. I will use another method or another message called perform selector. A selector is the method, so I am calling on myself to perform that selector, but when I use perform selector, it gives me some options. So some of the option is to pass on a variable, but in my play game doesn't need any variable, so I don't need to pass anything. But then you see this one, it says after delay, and it allows you to set a timer, and the timer will have a certain number of seconds for the game. So here, my selector, I use the at operator and say I want to call a selector, and I want to call play game, and you see the update here give me all the options of the methods that I can call, or the messages. So I call play game, and then I don't want to send anything to play game, and I want to wait 2 seconds. So let's see how this will work. So now it waits until you select an answer. So I selected an answer. Then you hear the second sound. And then the second sound, it gives you the seconds. And then it's gonna keep doing that until notice when I said correct answer, the image is not showing. So I need to reset the image and I need to reset this text every time a turn comes. I'm gonna go through all the 10 of them and then we see how it works. I'm not counting, so here it is, and then that's the alert at the end. So we will fix those images and the labels and continue working on this in the next video. Thank you.